Hello book lovers, welcome to Uncommon Reader. I'm Daniela. So before we start, a little alert. There are men working in the building today, so if you hear some background noise, I hope it's not too fastidious and I hope I don't have to interrupt the video. So in my last video, I had announced an update of my reading plans for 2025. But as I was preparing the video, I realized that I was in a really good position and that in December I would have had very little to add to where I'm at this point. So realizing also that I have a big chunk of book that could have made the cut for the Big Book Summer Challenge that I decided to join right at the end. So today I will combine in this video and sharing my books that are part of the Big Book Summer Challenge that was created by my friend Sue Jackson and co-hosted this year by Melinda at A Web of Stories. And I'm gonna save the 3 big mammoth books for last because they are a perfect fit for the tag Worth Every Page, the Big Book tag, that was created by Shelly at Shellish, and I was tagged by Pat of Book Chat with Pat and by Tracy at Tracy Nordic Light. Let's start. So here are my big books I read this summer, starting with Kristin Hannah and The Women. I dedicated a video to this book because I really wanted to start a conversation on my disappointment, my unpopular opinion while reading this book. And actually, I was really happy to learn that I wasn't alone in being unsatisfied with this historical novel. No, actually, in my defense, I didn't know, because I've never read anything by Kristin Hannah before, that she was a romance writer. And so I thought she was a popular historical fiction writer. And unfortunately, in this book, there is a little bit of historical facts, but mainly focusing on the protagonist's love life. But still, this book had over 464 pages, so it qualifies. The next book, over 400 pages, is The God of the Woods by Liz Moore, and I read it in my Italian edition here, and it's over 500 pages. And I love this. Is a really cool mystery, perfect for a summer read, set in a summer camp where there are some mysterious disappearances and you think everyone is guilty. I really love the style of writing and how it jumped into present and past continuously just to bring the story together. Another great book that I read, and I am going to dedicate a whole video. I actually finished this just a couple of days ago, and it actually is going to be one of my favorite reads this year. I was so impressed by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, Americanah. So this book is very thought-provoking with powerful writing, and I made a lot of notes on this book, and I think it has a great potential for starting a good conversation on racism, especially these days. So look out for my next video on Americanah. Perhaps consider subscribing if you're not subscribed yet. So the next 2 books that qualify for the Big Book Summer are 2 Italian books. One is translated in English, and I spoke about it in my probably my favorite of the month of June. I don't remember, but I'll put a link to that video because I'm not going to spend too much time talking about each book on this video. So this was All That Is Left of Life by Roberta Recchia, and it's a beautiful family story. This was over 400 pages. The second book is another Italian book that is not yet translated in English. It's actually 2025 release. It's called Promettimi che non moriremo, which can be translated like Promise Me We're Not Gonna Die. So it looks really dramatic, but it's a beautiful family story again that expands throughout the 20th century. So we see a lot of changes with the incoming Industrial Revolution. Things change in this family. It's very touching and really well written. The author is Carollo. This book was over 600 pages. So the next books are gonna still be part of the big book summer, but at the same time, they will be the protagonist of Worth Every Page, the big book tag, again, created by Shelly at Shellish. And again, I wanna thank Pat and Tracy for tagging me on this one. And I'm going to read what Shelly said in her video. Big books can be intimidating, but some are absolutely worth the time, the effort, and the wrist strain. In this tag, share 3 or more books around 800 pages or longer that you believe earned every single page. Whether they are emotionally sweeping, intellectually satisfying, or just widely entertaining, these are the chunksters that proved their worth. So I'm going to start with Shantaram, and excuse me, I'm going to turn my back and bring these babies here. A little exercise today. So here's my beloved Shantaram, probably the best read of 2025. I dedicated a video to this book and probably shared a few passages here and there. It's a beautiful autobiographical, semi-autobiographical story by Gregory David Roberts. And just to summarize quickly what this book is about, it's so intense. In the early 80s, Gregory David Roberts, an armed robber and heroin addict, escaped from the Australian prison to India, where he lived in a Bombay slum. There, he established a free health clinic and also joined the mafia, working as a money launderer, forger, and street soldier. He found time to learn Hindi and Marathi, fall in love, and spend time being worked over in an Indian jail. Then, in case anyone thought he was slacking, he acted in Bollywood and fought with the Mujahideen in Afghanistan. Amazingly, Roberts wrote Shantaram 3 times after prison guards trashed the first 2 versions. It's a profound tribute to his willpower, at once a high-kicking, eye-gouging adventure, a love saga, and a savage yet tenderly lyrical fugitive vision. The lyrics, the language, it's so exquisite. So it has so many elements, the adventures, the romance, high-end romance, I call it, sophisticated romance, and so many powerful insights into the human soul, a lot of philosophical talks, and it's just a not to be missed book. So the next 2 books are in Italian, and unfortunately they're now translated in English, but these are really worth every page, and they are big chunks of books. The Digressione here is over 1,000 pages, and this book is so mesmerizing. It's such a vision, and it's so difficult to explain what this book is about that I actually had to translate a passage of the publishers that are able to capture the essence of this book in these words. So bear with me. I'm gonna put the book here. Hopefully it's not gonna fall on me. And I'm gonna read. We must be kind in this dark world. This is a phrase that comes back in the book. Imagine a world where Asti, which is a little town in the Piemonte region in the north of Italy, where Asti is the center of the world. Imagine an old book in which each owner has left traces of themselves. Drawings, comments, posters, the rules of an existential game invented by Mary Shelley and her circle, the addresses of an elusive office of redemption. Imagine a young man, Arturo Saragat, burdened by remorse for not having been able to oppose evil when it was necessary, who relies on that book to reorient himself in life, only to become even more lost instead. Imagine a history in which Mussolini was not shot, but ended his days in exile, raising donkeys in Pantelleria. Then imagine nostalgic reenactors of fascism, a golf-mad consul, a lobby of murderous dentists, heretical sects, mariachis, exotic lands and desolate lands, fortune tellers, a factory of marvelous illuminated globes, and a woman over 100 years old with a poignant charm. This is just a small part of what you'll find in Digression. Dizzying coming-of-age novel of love and adventure offers us a vision of our time that is at times compassionate and at times unbearable. In this novel, the poetic and pictorial universe imagined by Gianmarco Griffi continues to unstoppably expand and multiply, traveling at breakneck speed towards the limits of literature. Life itself is nothing other than an immense digression on the journey that mercilessly leads from the maternal womb to the tomb. So yeah, it is intense, but I truly enjoyed it. It's surreal, dystopic, poetic, adventurous, and introspective. A lot of questions about life, the meaning of life. So it was such a trip, you guys. Last book, I mentioned this book was going to be part of another challenge this year. A Hat Full of Cherries by Oriana Fallaci. And this is a beautiful account of her family ancestors. She goes back to 1800. She traced the stories of her ancestors and portrayed them with honesty, because some of them were not really angels. So I think she did a great job. And what I loved about her telling the story was that she felt like every piece of her ancestors were somehow part of who she was, of her personality. So it was a tremendous read, and I wish it would be translated in English. You know how I adore her. She was one of my choices for the Women in Translation video. So the guys are making a lot of noise, so I better end up this video. So pardon the interruption. Unfortunately, this is the only time that I had to record the video. So I hope you enjoyed, and I thank again Pat and Tracy for tagging me, and Sue and Melinda for creating this awesome Big Book Summer Challenge. I'll see you next time on Uncommon Reader. Thanks for supporting my channel. I'll see you soon. Ciao.